What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So if we go back in time and look at some of the biggest YouTube and social media sensations in the fitness and the bodybuilding industry, then Jeff Seid will definitely be in that list. In fact, most of these guys in the original Gymshark crew, they were big deals at that time. And Jeff Seid had a good career as a men's physique athlete. He made some controversial statements, and the biggest of them all was that he competed naturally at the Olympia in the men's physique. And that was years back. And that is why you can see that he has a lot of haters. But I have got to say he took everyone by surprise by clarifying his most recent statement that he is retiring from competitive bodybuilding. The fact of the matter is that he competed in the men's physique division for almost a decade. And now he has decided to go for the classic physique division, which I have got to say is gonna be insanely difficult for him because he fit quite well in the men's physique category. But those guys in classic physique, they are absolute genetic freaks. And on top of all that, Jeff's legs, as well as his overall muscularity, that is nowhere near that is required to compete in classic physique division. Now, I will go as far as saying this. Even the top guys in the men's physique division, they are just way more muscular than they used to be back in the day. Let alone guys in classic. So what do you guys think about Jeff's transition into a much more difficult division? Well, in my opinion, he just cannot thrive in that. Next up, we have the physique update from Michael Krizo, 4 months after his shoulder surgery. And this is the time when he has finally started to feel that his strength is returning to that level again, where it used to be before that injury. So Krizo right now is over 300 pounds in this off-season, and he's going to be starting his prep in just another few weeks. Because for those of you guys who do not know, he's aiming to do this upcoming New York Pro. So Michael Krizo still hasn't revealed whom he is working with as his coach. Now, in terms of that training strategy and how a new coach will maybe able to help him build more width in the back department, that is yet to be seen. But maybe hiring a new coach, that is a smart idea in terms of bringing that conditioning, especially the kind of conditioning that we saw from him in his last couple of shows. And that was with Alexander, his former coach. We can all agree he did a pretty good job at that. And Michael Krizo was absolutely shredded in almost every show that he did after his switch over to the Pro League, except his last one, which was Emperor Classic Spain last year. But the thing is, throughout that prep, he was carrying that shoulder injury and he could not train the way he wanted to. And that was actually one major reason why he did not show up at his all-time best. Now, had his doctors allowed him to gain the momentum a little earlier, then Krizo would have done some other shows, like Pittsburgh Pro, or Detroit Pro, or maybe the Arnold as well. And honestly, many other guys who are doing all these shows, they will be concerned about Michael Krizo, because Krizo has that unbelievable freak factor. He has the size, and he can go up against the best of the best in the world. So I for one cannot wait to see this new and upgraded version of Michael Krizo, and how that compares with some of these top guys like Nick Walker and Martin-Fitzwater. Next up, we have a physique update from Rubiel Mosera, who is playing it really smart, making sure his health markers are intact and they're all in the right place before he starts his prep for this upcoming New York Pro. Now, as fans, we are hoping that he sticks to his words and he does compete at this upcoming New York Pro, because he kinda tarnished his reputation a lot, as much as anyone possibly can, by dropping out of almost 5 shows in 1 year. And the thing is, no one forced him to do that. He himself said he is gonna do all these shows, or his team said that. Now, there hasn't been any official announcement made by Rubiel himself. It was the head judge, Steve Weinberger, who said that Rubiel is gonna do this upcoming New York Pro, which is happening in May. So we have our fingers crossed to see him back up on that stage. Now, if that happens, it won't be the first time 2 of the biggest freaks in the Pro League, Michael Krizo and Max Zilla, they will compete against each other. They competed against each other back in Prague 2023, which by the way was Rubiel's pro debut, and Krizo was able to beat him at that show. But that was also the best look of Rubiel to ever step on the stage. The man looked so freaky and way more detailed on that Prague Pro stage compared to his last show, which was Dubai Pro last year. Now, his side shots in particular, they were just so mind-blowing. And after Prague Pro 2023, some arguments were made that maybe they were some of the best side chest and side triceps in the whole Pro League right now. Now, at the end of the day, we all want to see him compete because he has enough muscle mass already. And the thing is, he needs to compete more in order to marinate all that muscle, get that density and muscle maturity, and go up against the best of the best. Next up, we have the off-season physique update from Quinton Beastwood. So this is easily over 300 pounds, which is a typical off-season weight for Quinton. Last year when he was working with Matt Jensen, he went as high as 325 pounds. And you have to understand the frustration at the end of that prep, that he did everything that he was supposed to do, that he was told by his coach. But the results at the New York Pro last year, they were just so disappointing. Not just for him, but all of his fans and the general bodybuilding community as well, who have been waiting for so long for Quinton to finally put it all together. And I have got to say the expectations were kinda high. And every time a guy with those kind of elite genetics, they take almost 2 years off and go through such a long off season, people just assume that this is gonna be career changing. But it was the exact opposite of that. Because if you guys think about it, Quinton actually regressed, even compared to his Texas Pro 2022 look. So he's the guy who lost his faith in the coaching thing altogether, and he said he never wants any other man coaching him ever again. Now Quinton would have gotten his first pro win, and probably his Olympia qualification as well, last year too, if he kept on competing after Toronto Pro, because that is where he placed second, behind Akeem Williams, and he made a good case for himself. And honestly, he was able to recover pretty damn well from the New York Pro to Toronto Pro. So will this be the year Quinton will finally make it to the Olympia stage? Well, it isn't like the man is getting old. He's still pretty young. But just because he has been competing as a pro since 2019, it seems like forever. Next up, we have the physique update from Beef Stew, aka Stuart Sutherland. Safe to say that in terms of pure bodybuilding progression, and whether Stu was able to make the maximum improvements in 2024, that year was far from being ideal because he got sick so many times, even in the off-season. And right now, as we speak about these off-season pictures, he is even recovering right now from the holiday sickness. Now, if we look over a different type of physiques in the men's open bodybuilding right now, then Stu's off-season, that isn't exactly impressive. But I have got to say he does bring it on the show day. And he did look pretty damn phenomenal this year at the New York Pro. And although he went from second to fourth in 1 year from 2023 New York Pro to 2024, but we have to keep in mind, it was such a great lineup last year because we had guys like Nick Walker, Martin-Fitzwater, and Tony Burton in that top 3. So Stu did an amazing job. And I have got to say, had he brought that same physique to One Pro, which was his last show of the season, I think he would have fought for his first pro win. He could have qualified for the Olympia. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.